Hi, I'm Courtney Carroll. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm so nervous, but I'm going to just jump in. I have been thinking about the idea of launching a podcast for probably 2 to 3 years. And a big question to myself is why now? What's going on? Where can I start? And how do I introduce myself to my friends and family in this platform? Outside of posts about my beautiful daughter and maybe some vacations and nights out with friends, I'm not very vulnerable on social media. In fact, I bet you most of my followers and friends don't know what I do for work, don't really know what I believe in, and probably have no clue what I've gone through to get to this point in my life. But here we are. Plan on launching this on my birthday, which is August 29th. I turned 36 years old. Yes, I'm recording early. I'm trying to have some podcasts in the bank before this all begins. But I have been wanting to not only speak my truth, but also share my experiences and help other people that are going through similar things. Part of being a marriage and family therapist, and let's just call it counseling therapist, whatever you prefer. I am by no means a doctor. Some people do that. I am just a licensed therapist, have my master's degree. And I've been practicing for about 6 to 7 years. I graduated in 2019 at City University of Seattle. And since then, my life's changed a lot. Originally went into practice thinking, wow, I'm going to work with kids one day, help the system, work through something. And honestly, I had no idea. And if you ever gone to a master's program, specifically a master's program in therapy, talk about an experience. Never did I know I was going to be in active therapy throughout the 2 years I did in grad school. But let's shift. Let's go a little fast forward, if you will. I ended up moving to North Carolina in 2019, right after I graduated with my ex-husband. And I'm just going to clear it now too. He will always most likely be referenced as ex-husband. Family, friends, you know who he is. But I do want to protect his autonomy in any way I can, while also sharing my stories and my experiences along the way. I got here thinking, again, I would be working my way through my associate license, and it took like a year to even work in North Carolina. It's one of the hardest states to get licensed in. And I started working with kids again, thought I would be working with couples. Fast forward, I got a beautiful surprise by the universe. I got pregnant with my beautiful daughter, Hazel. And right after Hazel was born, I started working at a group practice called Awakenings. It's in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's a fantastic practice. Specializes in couples and sex therapy. And all I wanted to do was learn from the best. And Dr. Watson and her practice is one of the best practices for students, I think. I couldn't imagine doing any type of other associate work than I had there. They have a great education program, and I learned a lot. As I gravitated towards couples counseling and sex therapy, I really, really fell in love with it. I love relationship work. I always have. And it only grew. And now I feel like I'm cultivating like a toolkit of all these things I've been trained to do, including emotion-focused therapy. I should say that too. I consider myself an attachment-based theorist. And what I kind of learned on the way, that's why I stumbled on those words, is what do I actually do? And some people are very strict. They stay in one lane, and I love that for them. I kind of put everything I've learned into a toolkit, and I show up as authentic as I can in the room with my clients. And sometimes I use emotion-focused therapy. I also have some great training in the Gottman theory. I have experience in sex therapy, couples, individuals. I don't work with more than one over the other. I think I'm pretty split even. And then as my journey fell along the way, I don't know if the word fell is the right word, but as I journeyed through life, becoming a mom, I started wondering who I was outside of that therapy room. and how to live authentically. And I would say about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, maybe, I found a spiritual connection. And what does that even mean? Like, I just felt closer to God, or whatever you want to call it. And I started finding a lot of peace in my life. And I just kind of stepped into living authentically and aligned. And what do I believe in? And how do I bring that into client work? How do I help my clients live authentically? Not in just their relationships, but with themselves. And then as I kept practicing and my client sessions just kept getting better and clearer, I would get comments and questions a lot from my other clients saying, can you help my friends? Can you help my family? And being a licensed therapist, you're kind of restricted. You're in your state. You're not supposed to see clients outside of your state. I can travel, but my clients can't. And unless I'm licensed in that particular recommended client state, I can't really help them. And it's frustrating when you want to help people you care about. And my clients wanted to share what they're experiencing with me, with their friends and family, and thinking, if this helps me, if this has saved my marriage, if this has made me more confident or aligned, or whatever the word is, like, how do we talk about it, Courtney? You really can't help them. And that's when I just kind of thought, there has to be a way. There has to be a way for me to speak out, share experiences from my office in my chair, from my own personal experiences, and hopefully that helps heal other people. Since then, of course, you guys, you're on my podcast now. Welcome. And I'm like, I can do podcasts. Like, that's going to be so good. Anything I talk about, anything, it can be here. And I was with my best friend, Megan. We were talking about it, and she is the best person to have in your life. If you don't have a Megan in your life, you should. Megan is the ultimate cheerleader. And I'm talking to Megan. I'm like, what do you think? A podcast? Could I do that? It's been done. There's a million. And she's just like, but it's not you. And I was like, well, what's like my thing? For a long time, I literally thought it would be talking about couples and sex therapy and everything. I'm like, I'm not really sure. She goes, what do you talk about in the room? I'm like, everything I talk about, from sex, divorce, infidelity, cheating, kids, being a parent, how to create boundaries with family and friends, how to live in a no and having that be enough, saying yes to what actually brings fulfillment into my life and their lives, and trying to let go of anything that no longer serves them. Also by being a model of that myself. And she's brilliant. She goes, I got it. I was like, what is it? What do you got? Let's talk about it. That's kind of what you do, Courtney. I'm like, that is. Like, let's talk about it. So if you're wondering, what's the name of this podcast? Let's Talk About It with Courtney. I feel like it just feels good, and I feel authentic in it. So what should you expect from future podcasts? It's let's talk about it all. I'm going to bring topics. Maybe one day I will have guests. In fact, I'm sure I will have them. I have some great friends, family, connections, and I hope their stories will help you. And I hope my own experiences help you. But growing up, I lived in a pretty sheltered home, at least from 10 to 11 on. I wasn't really allowed to ask a lot of questions without getting some grievance or being like, why are you asking? That's inappropriate. That's not a Christian thing to ask or talk about. We don't talk about sex. No, we don't. We don't talk about fighting. We don't talk about how hard it is to blend a blended family. We don't talk about what it's like to be a child in that environment. My siblings and I can attest, there was 6 of us. And we all had different experiences in the same household. But my parents did absolutely the best they could. Like, I admire them greatly. And by them living in their ethical, moral code, they created an environment that made the most sense for them. And as I gotten older, a lot of it doesn't make sense to me, or I do have questions, or I do want to talk about it. I don't want to be small. I don't want to be silent. I don't want to just keep the peace in the home. I did that for so long, you guys, so long. And it never helped me. And that's no disregard to how I was raised. Again, I think my parents are great. They did literally the best they could. But as I got older, got married, had an 11-year marriage, I am divorced. We will for sure get through that. I am just done being quiet. I am done being small. I am done whispering about what's really going on with me. And I think my clients are too. The things that are held in session. I can't tell this person this. They won't like me. Or what if I do change my belief system? What does that mean? Am I still a good person? Am I still a good daughter, son? What if I don't want to stay married to that person I'm married to, Courtney? That's a good one. And we're definitely going to get there too. And as a therapist, as a counselor, as a friend, the conversations I've gone through in life, you guys, it's always in the quiet. It's always in closed doors. It's always a whisper, and it has to stop. We are in a new way of life now. Like, just thinking about how I'm recording this on my phone and being new to this, I have to embrace it. And I encourage all my listeners, my friends, my family, my clients, embrace yourself. Tell your story. We don't tell our stories, how do we get better? And if you're alone, like I've been alone. I've been alone in my thoughts, and sometimes they have gotten dark. And it's because I was told not to talk about things. Why are you lonely? Why are you sad? Don't you have a great life? Isn't everything okay? What does it mean if I'm not okay? And sometimes if you share with people that you're going through a hard thing and they don't mean anything by this, I truly don't think most people think logically like this. They kind of take it away, but at least you're not going through this. But Court, it could be worse. At least, you have a roof over your head. And it kind of reminds, and my poor clients, they're like, I've heard this before, Courtney. Everyone knows comparison is a thief of all joy. But I have said at least 1 million times, comparison is also the thief of all heartache, sadness, and any other emotion that's not joy. Should I not be sad that I have to share custody of my daughter because at least I have a good co-parent? What the hell? What? And that was real for me. And, oh, you have a roof over your head. I also lost my home and a lot of things in divorce and splitting assets and all these things. And that sucked. Even if I got what I needed to get out of it. And it sucks that I can't say it sucks. I've had friends say, well, at least your baby's dad is around. Okay? It sometimes sucks having him around, and I'm sure he would say the same thing about me. In a good way. Like, you'll learn. If you have never gone through divorce and co-parenting, it's hard. And by no means am I perfect in that too. I want everyone to know that. But I am tired of not being able to say, hey, this sucks for me too. And not be able to have someone steal my sadness, my sorrow. I should be able to talk about it. I should be able to talk about sex. Growing up, I never could. There's a reason why I picked being trained in sex therapy. I was doing couples work and I had no business. No one has any business, in my opinion, just Courtney Carroll's opinion, to do couples therapy if you are not comfortable talking about sex. Absolutely not. And I don't care who disagrees with me. Go ahead. If you are not comfortable talking about sex, you have no business helping relationships that are especially having sex. And I've heard the research, and I could be getting it wrong. It's been quite a while, since I've been in it. But I think it's 70% of therapists don't talk about sex. I've had literally referrals from clients from therapists saying, yeah, they talked about everything, but they wouldn't talk about my sex life. That is crazy. And I needed to learn more. And I'm like, why am I uncomfortable talking about sex? Oh, because I was never allowed to. Growing up in a Christian home, good Christian girls have their legs closed. They certainly don't ask questions. And man, is that light switch, you get married and you're supposed to be good at it, you're supposed to know what you're doing? Heck no. And that's just not normalized. And honestly, you guys, that's another episode. But here we are. Again, just trying to lay out my life, how I got here, what I want to talk about, what should be talked about. Why are we avoiding hard conversations? And I think we do because people don't want to look in the mirror. They don't want to look at the reflection in the mirror. They'd rather say something negative, put someone down, than actually say, why am I doing this? Why is it weird that my daughter talks about sex? Why am I uncomfortable? And I've learned as myself and as a therapist, and hopefully I've helped my clients, like, it's your own story. Just because someone doesn't like it doesn't mean it's not yours. And sometimes there's a lot of things we hide because it's ugly and it doesn't feel good. So we hide it. There's so many things I've not shared with close family and friends over the years because I didn't want to be judged for it. And honestly, like, I could cry right now just thinking about it. Which probably leads me into something that a lot of people either know or don't know about me, being divorced. I was married for 11 years. And man, was he the love of my life for those 11 years. And what a lot of people don't know is I was cheated on a lot. And I knew a lot. I caught it a few times. Let's call it 5. Most likely a lot more, to be honest. It's a little embarrassing. I'm getting nauseous just like kind of thinking about it. And when I was young, I forgave the first time, a year after being married, just 1 year. And then a couple of years later, finding out something. A couple of years later, staying out. There are times where I, as a Christian, born a Christian, raised as a Christian, I don't know if that's true, but let's just say I was Christian, and we're not called to believe in divorce. And my partner had a hard upbringing, then joined the military, and I just felt like if I showed unconditional love and forgiveness, that it would bring him closer to God. I know it sounds bad, guys. That's what I thought. And I stayed and lost a lot of my soul by doing so. And I am by no means innocent in my marriage, and I'm sure one day if he ever wants to share his story, he can. But I know I fought like hell to save my marriage. And at the detriment of myself. I lost myself. No one knew. Like, very few people knew. And then every time it happened, is this enough? Is this enough? Is this enough? And the last time it happened was about 2 summers ago. And we will talk about this later. The last time I found out about cheating, I was done. And when I told everyone, so many people were shocked. Not him. No way. I thought you guys were so happy. Courtney, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And part of me is upset with myself for like not owning those experiences, because I did blindside family, friends, mostly family. And they asked me why I kept it away from them. And I said, I thought you would judge him or me or whatever. And I chose to be alone in it. And that sucks, guys. I had all these friends and family that were so supportive once I announced that I was separating, that, gosh, I could have had a lot more support sooner if I would have just opened up and talked about it. This is exactly why I'm creating it, why I'm creating a podcast. And this is not to bash my ex-husband. It's not to bash whoever's story in whatever chapter of my book you've been in. I am just here because life's hard. Talking about divorce, talking about the shame that comes with it, that we share a daughter. It's hard to talk about it. And I just think, if it's hard for me, a trained therapist, who else is it hard for? So I'm here. I'm here to start a journey with y'all, and I hope you're along the way. I hope you're open to it. I hope you want to talk about it and experience life in a different way, to live authentically, to own your shit. That's what I'm trying to do. I own my stuff. Again, I am not perfect. I do not come from a perfect background. I am nervous to open up my life to the public. On my birthday, I will be opening up my social media, which has been on a lockdown grid for forever. And I'm opening my heart to y'all and my stories to you. And I hope it helps. And I hope you find healing in it, just like I have. Because every hard chapter in my book, from a pretty traumatizing early start in my life to my teenage years blending into a family with new dynamics, to figuring out who I was while being married and young, to infidelities, growing up together with my ex, to having our beautiful daughter, moving to North Carolina, through figuring out who I am as a therapist and as a person, and divorce, dating. That's a whole other chapter. Dating after divorce, and I will give you a teaser right now. Holy moly. I had no idea. In fact, let's stay here for a minute, because I feel like y'all need to hear this. I had no idea. The last time I was single, before my ex-husband, I was 21. And I had dated someone for almost 2-ish plus years before then. So I technically haven't been single since high school. My only memory of an app was eHarmony. Like, maybe Match. And over the years, my friends used apps and everything, and I had no idea. But when you're married for 11 plus years, and technology and social media and the world is where it's at, that was terrifying. Terrifying. I had no idea what I was doing, to be perfectly honest. And a lot of people, again, here we are talking about it. Divorce, Courtney, that's already big. We talked about infidelity a little bit. Told you a glimpse of my family history. I told you divorce sucks, because it does. If I didn't say that correctly, it does. It the hardest experience of my life. And then now we're talking about dating. And this is, again, a glimpse into what we're going to be talking about for a long time. Maybe it will be a little bit more focused and not sporadic, but I'm going to be authentic. I'm not editing this episode. This is just me laying my stuff out there. Dating after divorce sucks, because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't. My favorite word was I was naive. I had no idea. And if you are there right now, and maybe in this like you heard about me and you're like, oh yeah, she's been divorced, she dates. I was also engaged. That's another story after my divorce. That's not a good one, but I'm here to share it. Dating's hard. And no one told me. I mean, maybe they did. I don't remember. Maybe I wasn't listening. Dating apps are terrifying. And I didn't know what I was doing. And gosh, I'm just like laughing in my head because I literally just remember the beginning of it. I'm like, this is overwhelming. And being a female, maybe it's worse for females, I'm not sure, but like the amount of like comments and everything I was getting on these apps, I was like, this is like terrifying. But I will skip ahead and let you know I did learn a lot from dating. And now that I'm back in the field, if you will, I'm not really, not going to be on apps anytime soon. Sorry, not going to. I think whoever finds me will find me. Sounds bad, but it's true. I learned a lesson from each guy I dated. And now that I go back, I could tell you. And we're going to have an episode about dating, I'm sure. And I definitely learned what I wanted. I definitely learned what I don't want. And it took a lot of work to kind of grasp. I dated some great guys, some good ones. And honestly, I don't think any of my family or friends, some of my friends do. I'm lying. My friends do. By lying, I'm not lying, but you get what I'm saying. I dated, and there are some really great guys I care about. And maybe I've hurt them. I'm not really sure, to be honest. But being back in the field and dating and learning how to do that, that was such an experience. And man, I can't wait to dig into that later with you guys. Whew, that's a good one. But I want you to hear right now, my message to you right now is to just breathe through it. Go with it. Have fun with it. Don't take it so seriously, especially after divorce. You guys have fun. Girls, don't rush it. And watch out for love bombers. That's a real thing. And guys too. Don't do it. Take time. Go slow. I wish I would have known that at the beginning. I would literally have like physical reactions because I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, we'll get in that later. But anyway, that's another example of what we'll be talking about. I think co-parenting is another subject that's hard work. And any of you co-parents out there, man, it's a beast. And if any of you have tackled it and mastered it and have really put your pride aside and everything, gosh, I commend you. Divorce is not the hardest thing I've ever done. I literally got that wrong earlier. Co-parenting and navigating those waters is the hardest thing I've ever done. Sharing custody of my daughter is the hardest thing I've ever done. Having to entrust a partner that broke my trust with my daughter and any decisions he makes around my daughter, who he introduces to, what they do in their own time, that has literally been so hard. And navigating what do you do with that time when you don't have your kid, how lonely that is. Gosh, people do not talk about being lonely after divorce. They just don't. And I wish more people did, because I wish I would have known. Because even though my ex would deploy and be gone a lot, I had him in the back of my head. He was my heart. I was not single. Like, everyone's like, shouldn't you be used to this? You did deployments. He was gone a lot. Like, are you really lonely? I'm like, it's so different. It's so different. I can't just call him. And I'm sorry, like, my ex was my best friend. We did not have a perfect marriage by any means, but like, I never like not talked to him. And all of a sudden, not only does he have my daughter, he's over there. He's not my best friend. And I will give you a little glimpse into it. Does not really want to be a great co-parent. He does not want to be my friend. And I still hope one day that will change. But I lost my best friend. Gosh, I want to cry. Like, I lost my best friend, my husband, and then half the time with my daughter when he was around. And that sucked. And I really sat with myself before that. Because again, I was a wife. I had a house to run. I had a daughter. Like, the amount of loneliness after divorce is real, you guys. And if you are encountering divorce or contemplating it, I'm not talking you out of it. I'm not talking you into it. Just saying, just know there's a lot of work to do. And I truly hope you have lined up professional help waiting for you and with you during those times. I saw a great therapist in Southern Pines, and he just encouraged me to sit with it. Sit in the loneliness. Learn how to be by myself. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry myself to sleep. It's okay just to not avoid it, to sit in it. He'd say that all the time. Sit in it, Courtney. Sit in it. So I do invite you, if you're going through something, to sit in it. Don't avoid it. Don't withdraw from it. It's so easy to do. You can distract yourself. You can drink. You can smoke. You can do whatever you want, but it does not make it better. It wasn't until I actively, personally went to therapy and stopped avoiding the pain and the hurt, learning how to meditate, going to yoga. I know I sound like a commercial, but literally it wasn't until I could be still within myself that the loneliness went away. So know that. Take it with a grain of salt, please. I'm by no means wiser or better than anyone. It was just an experience I lived through. And every time I tried to distract myself, whether that was with dating or hooking up with someone or, a drink sometimes makes things feel better. Every time I did that, I didn't feel better. It just delayed the healing, if you will. And I encourage you, don't delay healing. That's like the best thing you can give yourself is healing. Experience that heartache. Go through it. If anyone goes through divorce and says it's not painful, I don't believe them. Even if it's for the best decision for them. I know leaving my ex-husband was the best thing I could ever do for myself, for my daughter, and even for him. Having your ex beg you to stay and give one more chance, and what about our daughter? The strength it took me to say no, that did not happen overnight. That happened from healing and doing work and having to remind myself that I don't deserve this, that I want more. And we have to want more for ourselves. We can't think that that's love or light, or what God would want. And again, the word God, erase it, put in whatever your belief system is. And what do I really want? And do I want to be in a place that I'm not treated well in? And I hope you hear that. Whatever reason the message is today is shared with you, know your worth. Know what you want. Because we don't talk about that, especially if you're a female. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to generalize your gender, but I feel like women, females specifically, we're told not to want anything. We're told not to use our voice a lot. The subservient wife, everyone else should be happy. Your husband should be priority. Your kids should be priority. I was the last person to heal myself. I was willing to heal everything my ex needed me to do, which is the last year of our marriage, for sure. And I was willing to read books, trainings, anything to be the best mom I could for my daughter. We're so willing as females to do everything for our family, but we forget about ourselves. And by the way, guys, I'm not saying that's not you. I'm sure there are a ton of you that feel the same way. There's a client in my head that I'm imagining right now that does everything for his family and doesn't get a lot in return. And that's not just one story exclusive to him. That's a lot of us. Sacrifice. But what about me? What about you? And when I was in that room with my ex-husband, kicking him out of our home after finding out about more cheating, I said, I don't deserve this. I want more. And that is the night that changed my whole life. in the depth of sadness, heartache, I found myself. I no longer wanted to be quiet. I will no longer let him lead our family when he wasn't the leader. Not the way I needed him to be, at least. And it wasn't until I picked myself, not just for my daughter, because it was for her. I told him, I literally will go into just a tad bit of that night, told him, I can't teach Hazel this, that we let men treat us this way. Heck no. And I think he got that. I'm not sure. And I can't be in a marriage where I'm not respected and where I don't have a voice, where I'm not heard. So if you are in that line, and I know we're going everywhere today, I do feel called to say it just the way I'm saying it today, and I hope I'm connecting dots to you. Kind of do ping, 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 ping. What are you doing, Courtney? But this is it. This is how it's supposed to be, to talk about it all. I am not a perfect person. My ex will attest for that. And by the way, not in a mean way. I don't mean that in a hurtful way towards myself. I'm not the perfect daughter, son, not son. That's so silly. Of course I'm not a son. I'm not a perfect mom. I hope I learn the best from my mistakes. I'm not the most perfect therapist, but I show up for my clients. And the reason why I think it's important to talk about hard things, sharing my experiences that I thought I would go to the grave with, is because I think it could help. The more I've opened up to my clients in the last 2 years, the more I feel like I'm helping. And when I started talking about divorce and dating, it's so weird how the universe gave me divorce and dating clients and how we really worked together through it. The more I wanted to become a better version of myself, the more I shared. My experiences were not just for me to go through, but to share, to hopefully help you. Whoever's listening, whoever you are. I hope some of this resonated with you. Again, I know it's a little all over the place, but I told myself I would not be editing this episode. See, I'm already struggling with that one. That I would show up as my authentic self. I would introduce a little bit of my life and what I do. And I think if I got it right, y'all know I'm a licensed therapist, working on getting my dually license. Hopefully by the launch of this podcast, I will have a dually license in Washington State, where I now live. I live in Washington State now. I'm back home. I'm a licensed therapist in North Carolina. I am branching out. I'm expanding my business to coaching. You will find my coaching site in our links when we post this, and I am calling it alignment coaching. Living in alignment, showing up for yourself, and using everything we've gone through. Instead of thinking, I went through all these hard things and it just brought me down, or did it bring you into alignment? Every hard thing I've gone through, divorce, co-parenting, dating, being a daughter, being a mom, everything I've gone through has brought me to this point, to be with you. The universe was bringing me into alignment, even if I went through really hard things. So, I'm a licensed therapist. I would say a relationship coach, but I am definitely an alignment coach. And I hope that if we ever meet, we can get you into that spot. I started this podcast, Let's Talk About It with Courtney, so that everything's on the table. Everything that we were quiet or told not to talk about, let's talk about it. Let's not keep secrets. Let's not keep it down. Let's not keep our shit together. It can't happen. Not if we're authentic. Lean into authenticity, lean into myself, being Courtney Carroll. I did keep my maiden name, I did not keep my maiden name. Married name. There you go. See, I'm struggling. I have been Courtney Carroll for so long. I am Hazel Carroll's mom, and I am authentically living through myself. And I believe every hard thing has led me to starting this podcast, sharing my stories, Eventually you'll meet my friends, my colleagues, my family along the way whenever they're ready, and it's all divine how it works out. I hope our stories, our messages, our dialogue helps heal something in you, brings something out of you, empowers you, encourages you to have that hard conversation with that person in your life that means so much to you. But if you don't deal with this other piece of the puzzle, you're just quiet about it. There's no healing. So welcome to our podcast, my podcast. Welcome to the introduction of myself into this new world of sharing my life. I encourage you to embrace it if you so choose to. If we're not aligned, we're not aligned. That's okay. Thanks for watching anyway. If you ever have questions, concerns, or like, hey, Courtney, I really want to talk about this topic, please slide into my DMs, give me ideas, or comment on this page. And I hope that you all get to a spot where you can talk about it all. So thank you for staying with me. If you stayed with me this long, can't wait to keep going. I'm going to keep recording today. So until next time, friends, have a good one. Bye.